This week's episode of the Coaches Table is sponsored by Jani-King.
Well, first of all, the atmosphere was electric. That was a great turnout for both teams. West Side Classic, exciting game. For actually the game, I got to do a better job as a coach. There was some calls that I made that I believe cost us the game. I really have to find a way to get our young people on our team to understand that we have to finish strong. We talked about starting out fast, which we did. We did well. When you're playing a team that's ranked in the state, you got to realize they're going to get theirs. It's going to happen. I told our guys at halftime, of course, the game's not over. They have one of the top quarterbacks in the state of Alabama. It's going to happen. And so we have to score more points, and we just didn't do that. And then we couldn't get off the field because of penalties. And so whenever you lose the turnover battle and you shoot yourself in the foot by having so many penalties, you don't deserve to win. And so that's what happened. We had 2 turnovers. They had 1. What surprised me in the game is that they had a lot of linemen go both ways, but they played great the entire game. We just figured in the fourth quarter those guys were going to wear down, and they didn't. They moved some guys up front. They stud D linemen. They moved the nose in the second half. It's very obvious they made great halftime adjustments. And the D linemen and O linemen, they played great the whole game, and that was the difference in the game.
Oh, well, definitely it wasn't one of our most, it wasn't one of our better offensive games. But I thought our defense played well. The hidden yardage in that game was special teams. We did a great job of covering kickoffs. We blocked the punt. We affected another punt, and we had a big return on punt return. So those were the hidden yards in the football game, and we forced some turnovers. Our defense they've been doing a good job of forcing turnovers each and every week. So 3 phases to a football game. I want to say we won 2 out of those 3, and offensively we did enough to come away with a victory. We didn't hurt the team.
Well, in the first half, I felt like we didn't do our assignments. We weren't all there together, all 11. A couple times, as I watched the film, we were right there to make the tackle and just let the man go and went and tried to tackle somebody else. And I just think that was just Coach Spears and his staff putting together a system where they kind of confused us on what our assignments was going to be, showed us some things we hadn't saw on film, which is always an indication of good coaching. And in the first half, we just kind of shot ourselves in the foot. Going in at halftime, that's one of the things I've always kind of prided myself on, even as a coordinator, just to make sure that you make, adjustments, solid adjustments, and that you're paying attention to what happens in the first half of the game. And we did that, but we got to do a lot better job of just competing and taking care of our business. Emotions were high. Carver came out on fire. They surprised us on offense on defense, and had a dying pack. So all in all, you're glad of the win, and you're playing your rivalry team. So and you're 3-0 in the region is the most important thing. So
I think the guys were definitely ready for this game, this football game. We waited a whole year to have this opportunity to go back down there and play against Prattville. Those guys came out special teams wise. First drive we were able to break a long one and start the game off special teams. While we came back, we blooped the kick. Was able to get the kick on the kickoff, and what I'm so proud about in my tenure at Lee High School, this is the best rushing performance that we put over 400 yards rushing and up on this game. So I'm real proud of those young men. We thought that we were able to run the ball, and they came in, and I told them my mindset was we're not going to throw the ball more than 15 times. We're going to throw the ball 11 times that game. So I'm real excited about that. I told them it was going to be a very physical game. And they accepted the challenge. They said, "Coach, we got you." And they went down there and they did what they needed to do. Quite naturally, we came out of the game healthy defensively. Our defense coordinator, we made some adjustments in the second half, and we was able to slow those guys down and get some third down stops and make them punt the ball. And we were able to create some more separation in the game. And I think that was the tail of the game, that we were able to kind of stop those guys the second half, put them in long situations, and start sacking the quarterback and put them in third and long. And we were kind of predictable what they thought they were going to do. But all in all, I'm pretty satisfied with the performance. Quite naturally, there's some things that we got to work on. Our third down performance wasn't where we needed to be, but those things we can work on.
We came into the game with the mindset that we were going to run the football, and I was really pleased with that. We rushed for over 300 yards. Uzziah had 195 and 3 touchdowns. And we were effective in the passing game. It was efficient, 8 out of 12. 150 or 60 yards, so it was effective. Thought offensively we played well. We had a lot of penalties in the game. We had 170 yards of penalties, 15 penalties, and that killed drives. I think we punted 3 times, and every time we punted it was because we had a penalty that set back a drive. So we've got to correct that, clean those up. When you have over 500 yards of offense, you should score more than 35 points. So we got to clean that up. And then on the defensive side, I was really pleased with the way the guys played. They threw some new formations at us that we weren't prepared for, but we were able to make the adjustment, and the guys played really hard, really physical, and shut them out. I think they had 120 yards rushing on about 36 carries and had minus yards passing. So it was a complete win. We did what we had to do. We went down there and overcame some penalties, and so we were able to overcome that and come away with a win. Everybody came out healthy, so that's a good thing too.
Nothing against Lanier. They played a great game, but we feel like we could have done a little bit more to make that game even tighter. So we get another opportunity this week. We get to play on Thursday, so you get that taste out your mouth, hopefully sooner. But when you watch Lee on film, you think, wow, we got to play these guys. They have a 3-headed monster at quarterback. I mean, not quarterback, but at running back, they run the ball well. Quarterback's very shifty. We got 3 or 4 guys that practice trying to emulate him, his quickness, and I think he's underrated as a quarterback. I think people say he's an athlete playing quarterback, but if you study the film, he does some things well in making decisions as a leader of the offense. And so it's going to be another tough game. It's easy to get these guys excited about playing schools in the city. So we bounce back quickly, and there's great hope. Although our record doesn't indicate it, we still have a great shot to make the playoffs. Although this isn't a region game, the goal is to get better every week. And so we have a great task ahead of us to try to get better against the Elite Generals.
We're very familiar with each other. Me and Cunningham, we've worked together on previous staffs. We talk all the time. We pretty much traveled together, our teams, this summer in 7-on-7 camps. And every time we see them, we were just like, oh, man. Like, they're blessed. Like, there's talent everywhere. But people don't realize how well coached they are. I challenge our coaches, hey, listen, man, it's going to be chess. It's going to be chess. And whoever makes, the best adjustment at the right time will come out victorious. We ain't trying to go out there and think we have the magic formula to stopping Mr. Football, James Foster. Our goal is to say, do your job. Do your job. Don't try to be a hero. Just make the play that we ask you to play. And offensively, hey, let's not hurt us. And special teams, hey, let's be a weapon and not a weakness.
All in all, we just talk about going against a 7A team that's ranked. You're playing another team in your city, and I tell the guys all the time, I keep saying this every week, but boy, if you sitting in our shoes and you got to play each other like we have to play each other, that's just not an easy task. I'd rather be in the region than playing JD now, if you just want to know the truth. But it's part of our culture in Montgomery. It creates a good atmosphere. Our players get to play in big games that they can carry with them the rest of their lives, even in a college atmosphere. Like Friday night, I think that gave us a playoff atmosphere. It was, it was so live. You couldn't hear yourself sometime in that game. And it's going to be the same way this week. You're coming in with Jeff Davis on the streak, Lanier's on the streak, as you said. So it'll be some good football. I think this is one of the games that I kind of look forward to because if anybody knows me, I love coaching. So this is one of those things where I'm gonna have to really, really coach. I know that, the first game was also that game, and this last game with Carver was that game. I knew I had to really coach. So like I said, this is gonna be a long week for me. But I think we're up to the task, of paying attention and doing what we need to do as far as detail wise, and we'll just come out and play, play the game, play hard.
The mindset is pretty much we're going against a good Carver football team. Despite whatever the record is, that doesn't matter. We were able to watch the tape and see how those guys, and that was one of the first things I showed. Lanier is on the streak. They're doing some good things, and look what happened. Look how Carver's playing good football this first half and going into halftime. So, and even on top of that, it's a city game. And again, those guys know each other, so we know it's going to be very exciting. We're facing a big front. Those guys do an outstanding job against the run. We watch those guys and they're disciplined. They're going to do what they do, and they're going to execute defensively. They've gotten the quarterback back, and Coach has some injuries. Coach Spears has some injuries. He has those guys back now, so he has all his weapons. Coming off a short week, we just have to make sure. Unfortunately, we were healthy from last week, but it's going to be a tough game. It's a city game, and anytime you play a city game, those guys are going to fight against each other real hard and be real competitive. So I look forward to being an outstanding football game, great atmosphere. I know Coach going to have those guys ready to play, so I just have to make sure we have the generals ready to play and try to make it a good football game.
Fun thing about it, the kids are excited. Tim Gillespie was my offensive coordinator for the last 3 years. He's the offensive coordinator up there now. So the kids are really excited about a chance to go play them. So preparation should be a lot more enjoyable this week. I think the kids are really excited about it, but it'll be a challenge. They've got a new staff up there. Bart Sessions is the head coach now. He's well known across the state for being an outstanding football coach, been very successful. So we've got a challenge. They're a lot better football team than they were last year, and we're going to have to come ready to play. Be our first time in a while facing an odd front. They run a lot of odd front defense, so we've got to prepare for that. That'll be this has been new for our offensive line. And then, like I said, they run our offense. So we've got to get ready to prepare for ourselves. And that's a good challenge for us.
Nation, we need to see you Thursday night going against one of Montgomery's favorite sons. People at my church usually root for me this week. They said his nickname. I'm not going to say his nickname. They root for Coach Rogers. My athletic director seemed to be confused. My special teams coordinator and my DB coach all are generals. But it's going to be exciting because of that kindred spirit. Look to see you Thursday night at the Crampton Bowl. It'll be a good one.
All right, Friday night, 7 o'clock, Crampton Bowl. Come out. If you didn't plan on coming out, cancel all your plans. Hey, you want to be at Crampton Bowl, 7 o'clock Friday night. You got the Jeff Davis Volunteers against the Sidney Lanier Poets. It's going to be a good one. Friday night, come out, see a great game. Two well-coached teams playing a city game. We're going to try to entertain you. So far, so good as far as entertaining the city games. Y'all really have been supporting all of our teams. Last Friday was, I'm talking about electric now, as Coach said. It really was. So if you would, come out and support Jeff Davis and Lanier. We need the help. We need you there. The kids need to see you so they can get more energy. Come out and support.
This Thursday night is 7 o'clock. We're playing the Nation. The Carver Wolverines. Come out and support. It's going to be an electric atmosphere, and we need everybody, all those league generals, we need you all to come out and support. See y'all Thursday night. Thank you.
Friday night, the Thunderbirds are traveling to Gadsden, Alabama, play the Gadsden City Titans. We need all of you to get in your cars, make the trip, get to play Coach Gillespie. The guys are excited about that opportunity. We need the fan support. We took a great crowd last year. We need another big crowd to get behind us. It's going to be a tough game. Should be an exciting game. Great stadium, great venue, so it'll be enjoyable. Come on up and support the Thunderbirds.
This week's episode of the Coaches Table is sponsored by Jani-King, provider of the best commercial cleaning and janitorial services. Contact Evelyn Gooden at 334-202-3835 and tell them that Modern Day TV sent you.